In one of our previous video, I have already discussed the significance of service discovery and also its importance in the microservices architecture world. So in this and also in that video, I discussed how to implement service discovery using console. So if you have not seen it, I request you to see that first. And in this video, I'm going to discuss about how to implement service discovery using Eureka. So Eureka is a product defined by Netflix, and then it is widely used everywhere in the microservices, and it helps in maintaining the microservices addresses using service registration and discovery. So whenever one microservices wants to communicate with another microservices, it will contact Eureka and then get the address of the other microservice, and it tries to connect. So in this video, we are going to develop an application involving two microservices. One is student service and another one is course service. The course service gives the important details about the course, and the student service gives the list of students, and the students also contains the important information about the course. And both student service and course service are going to register themselves to Eureka server. And the whenever get a student's API is requested, student service is going to make a call to course service and get the course information, and it will embed the course information in the student object, and it will return it to the caller. So this is how the API details will look like. The course service will return course ID, course name, and fees, and the student service will return a list of students which is having name and email ID, and you can see that this information is coming from course service. Now we will see how to implement this. First, we will create projects required for this application. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a student service, and I have called this package as the common example Eureka. And since I'm doing the first time student service, what I'm going to need is I need a web server and then actuator, and I will need important part which is Eureka discovery client, and I'll be also using a Lombok. So with these 4 dependencies, we are good to go. So similarly, there will be course service. So this is also going to use the similar dependencies like web starter, actuator, and the discovery client, and the Lombok. So now we are going to do Eureka server. Eureka server is little bit different. So it will not have all these things. It will just have Eureka server. With this, it will create a Eureka server. So let's see how to import these projects into Eclipse or in. I imported all the 3 projects inside IntelliJ. So what I did is I created a folder called a service discovery using Eureka, and inside that I defined pom.xml, and I defined these as a submodule so that I can see all the projects inside a single IntelliJ. So the people who are using Eclipse, they might not find it difficult, because all the projects you can see it in the same window, but for the IntelliJ guys it is little difficult. So that's why I have made it as a sub module. So first what we are going to do is we are going to first configure the application.properties. So here we need to specify the name and then the port, and also we also need to specify the Eureka settings. So so first for student service, what all things we have is here the application name is student service, and this is going to run at 8888, and this is going to connect to 8761 Eureka, and then this is some settings related to Eureka. And then now also we need to see how the settings related to course service would look like. The course service also will be same, except the port and the name. The port, this is going to run at the port 9091. And now the important part is Eureka server. So Eureka server, we need to specify at what port the server is going to run. So mostly, so this is the setting. So here I have told that this is running at server 8761. So now let's start coding. So here inside Eureka server, so what we need to do is we need to say that this is a Spring Boot application, and also it's a enable Eureka server, and that's it. So with this server will run at 8761. So maybe if you see it, it'll run. Let it run, and till then let us code what is required inside core service. And here I need to say enable what is that, Eureka client. So you can see here the Eureka server has started at port 8761. So now let us finish the coding which is required. So course service is having the course information, and I am using Lombok's data and all are constructors and no args constructor. So this will have private int course ID and then private int fees and then private string course name, and that's it. And I also need a controller class which will expose REST APIs. So I need to say REST controller request mapping. I will say that this is courses. So here I need to maintain course information. I'm not storing the information in database. I'm just putting in the static block so that I can show how the server discovery works. Public void init. So this will be post construct. I want this to be executed, and also I'm going to use one more interesting thing is SLF4J, which is provided by Lombok. I'll say initializing course information. So here what I will do is I'll just put one new course one and then fees is this much. Structures. Put 2 course 2 new course 2 and then 20,000. The course name is data science. What I am doing wrong here? Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look like. And now I also need to define one method to be able to get. So go course details. I will say path variable course ID. This is, let me make it as a integer course ID, and then it's going to return course map dot get course ID, and this will be get mapping. This is courses details, and this is course ID, and that's it. With this, we should be good to go. So this is enable Eureka client, and then this is exposing courses. So now if I say let me run this, there is some problem. Okay, first let us code the student service, and then we'll see what it is. So this is my student service, and then as usual I need to say enable Eureka client, and then I need to first define a student. Oh, sorry. First I need a student class, so which will have private string name, and then private string email ID, and then it will have course ID. So this information is present inside student service. As you can say, this is not having a detailed course information. It is having only course ID. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to use same course model class here also. And then we are going to create a class student DTO, which will have similar properties like this, and this is also going to have course, and then I am going to say data, and then all args, no args constructor, and then similar thing I need to copy here also. So this is how it's going to look like. So now I am going to code a student controller. So this will be, sorry, this will be REST controller, and then request mapping. This will be slash students, and then as and also I need to define control set. I'm going to define a list of students. Okay, and then public void init, and I need to say post construct, and I need to initialize students, some students information. So this will be, name will be John, and John at gmail.com, and the course is 1. And let me copy this. Let me add one more student. He will be taking, and then this is Emilia at gmail.com. So let us put a list of student DTO. and then this will be get mapping, and this will be list. And what I'm going to do is, let me make it as null as of now. So what I need to do is, I also need to get private rest template. So this will be auto wired plus this will be load balanced. And I also need to create this bean, inject this bean inside the Spring, return new rest template. And I need to call this as a bean. So what I need to do is, I need to make URL first. So the URL would be, I think, okay, so first what I need to do is, I need to stream map student to get student DTO class. Okay, and then this I'm going to say collect to list, and then this is going to return. Okay, so now let's, okay, so now what I need to do is, I need to make a call to student service and get the information. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say rest template request for get for object. This is the URL, and I will need course dot class. So the URL would look like http course service and then courses details and student dot get course ID. Here you can see that I didn't specify the host and port of the core service. I just mentioned the core service. So it's a REST template's responsibility to get the host and post through Eureka and then replace it. And while connecting, it will replace core service with the proper host and port and then get the course information. So that's the reason I have made it as a load balance, so that it will balance the load when there are multiple instances of core service are involved. So I will get the course object here, and now I'm going to do is, I'm going to student get name, student dot get email ID, and then return a course. And why is this going? Let me optimize this. I think with this we finished the code. Let me start this as well. So it is starting, student service is starting. And now let us start core service. Core service, if I start this, let me start it. Oh, again it failed. Failed to bind properties under Eureka instance to int. So it is not able to convert this to int. Let us see what is the problem. So core service. Oh, okay, this is the problem. So now if I start it once again, I should be able to see the core service up and running, hopefully. Yes, it started. So now let us see how it looks in the Eureka server URL. So we are going to hit the Eureka server URL, which runs in at port 8761. So this is going to, so if you see here, there is a course service and there is a student service, and I have started this at 9091. So maybe if I run another instance course service at 9092, so what will happen is it'll that another server also will start appearing here. So now what we will do is we will try to hit the student service with so I started another core service at port 9092. So you can see that there are two instances of core service are running. So now what we will do is we are going to hit the student service to get a list of students. So here what we will do is, so here you can see that when I hit the student service list, it is returning me a list of students, name, email ID, and course. This information is coming from core service.